Welcome back to the channel, guys. Please subscribe if you guys like the content from the previous episodes and if you dig this content. So right here I'm showing my buddy LiveScope. He's really looking into the Garmin units because they're a little bit more affordable compared to the Lowrance Active Target. So I'm showing him what my bait looks like down on the LiveScope, and then bait balls and how fish react to the A-rig. So I put down the A-rig. My A-rig bite has been kind of suffering lately. I haven't been getting on a good A-rig bite at all. So I've been switching out to like underspins and smaller little swim bait jig heads. And this is what happens. So this fish is definitely a pre-spawn, a late pre-spawn fish, not ready to go back in the coves or the bays to really get ready to spawn. But there are some big uns, and I'll show you in the video later on my reactions of finding fish really shallow, but also finding them really deep. So this time of the year is kind of crazy because you can find big fish feeding in open water, 60 feet of water, and you can also find fish in 2 feet of water, 3 feet of water, just following your swim baits and your glide baits everywhere. Not exactly locked onto beds yet, but definitely cruising the banks, looking for a mate to actually create some babies and do their thing. So this fish ended up going about 19.5 inches, about 3.5 to 4 pounds. It was on the skinnier side, but thanks to Austin taking my photos for me. Portrait mode, of course. So we're in a local lake in SoCal, San Diego, and I'm just fishing suspended fish out in the open, anywhere from 50 to 65 feet of water. And I'm fishing the underspin, Cool Baits underspin, 1/8 of an ounce with a 2.8 kayak.
Finally got one to get fired up.
The morning bite was really good. I was able to follow bait fish and follow the bass. I was chasing these bait fish for the first hour and a half of the day, and then my bite kind of slowly dwindled. I was only able to capitalize on a short window, and that's the thing about these open water fish is they could be very, very selective of what they want, what they're going to be triggered by. So I didn't catch anything on the A-rig. I didn't catch anything on any crappie jigs or ice jigs. They strictly wanted that underspin. Cool baits. Here's a 16-inch bass. Nice solid one. Nothing to brag about or take home. Usually 16 inchers. They are hard to come by when you really need them. But when they are biting, you're just kind of like, hey, can I cull this out with something?
16 inches.
Like a 19 or 20. It's pretty frustrating when you get nothing but 16 inches. But then it's a game changer when you can get a 16 inch when the bite is totally off. In open water, I usually use LiveScope to find my bait and to see how fish are reacting to my bait. But in this case, I couldn't find it. A 2.8 kayak with an underspin. It is so small on the graph that there's some days I feel confident in finding it. There's some days it's a little bit tougher. But if you're able to concentrate, you'll definitely be able to see smaller baits on the graph. You just have 16. To really focus and dial your graph in. another 16 incher right here. Probably like 15 and a half, 16. I didn't really get a good measurement on it. When the fish are biting like that, you just want to kind of just release the fish as soon as possible, get a quick measurement, and then cast back out. But yeah, I think this one went around 16 inches as well. I just want to apologize in advance about the audio. My chesty cam ended up not working that day. I think it was a bad card. So I ended up using my back camera, which doesn't capture great audio at all. But yeah, I'm just taking photos throughout the day. Busted out my Sony a7 III and wanted to just really add that to my service or my repertoire when it comes to like photography business, because I run a photography and video production as well, if you guys didn't know that already. But yeah, I just took out my a7 III, my Sony a7 III mirrorless camera with an 85 1.8 lens. If you guys are interested in the equipment that I use today, whether it's lures, baits, or camera gear, it'll be all listed below, and it really supports the channel every time you guys purchase an item.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude.
I knew some point
pounder,
at
bro.
some point in the day I was gonna throw some glide baits up
No, I
shallow
didn't
and
catch
see
him.
if there's biggins. And if you guys ever get the chance to do that during pre-spawn to post-spawn, during that time, you could really locate those big fish that don't want to bite sometimes. But then also you can really get them to go when it's post-spawn on those glide baits. Anyways, I hope you guys like this video. I know it's kind of short, but the bite wasn't good for me this past week. So it is what it is, and I'll see you guys on the Delta. Peace. This year has been great. I've been finishing in the top 10, 20%, but there's nothing more than I want than a win, especially at the next stop, the Delta.